instances of paranormal phenomena have been reported in this desolate place. Events that may reflect the area's tragic past.
What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Other Dangerous Podcast, where we talk all things paranormal. I'm Ken James, and this is Jason McKittrick.
Hey, folks.
And if it can haunt, how, or dwell in the dark, we want to talk about it. So here we are, gang. We're at episode number 22, and we're getting into some more listener stories submitted by people.
22, double deuce.
Yeah, deuce. We made it.
Did we? I don't feel like we made it, but all right.
Yeah. We're doing it, is what I meant to say. We're doing it.
Well, I'm glad we're starting off strong because I think we're going to have a bunch of new listeners here tonight from the contest that is running, and we're already, starting off terribly. So I love it. So get used to it, folks. This is what it's like here.
Yep, settle in. It's going to get weird.
Exactly. All right, so looks like tonight we've got a nice little grab bag kind of episode for you.
Mm-hmm.
Another edition of listener stories.
Mm-hmm.
I know you folks really dig this, so we were like, you know what, let's do it. We had a couple other things planned, but I was like, you know what, let's do this one because we always seem to have a good time doing the listener story episodes.
Yes, sir. And this is going to be hopefully one of our last remote episodes, and let's make it a good one. So you want me to take it away first? Hit you one?
Go ahead, buddy.
All right. This comes to us from Rob from Pemberton, New Jersey.
Ooh.
Rob writes, "Hey, dudes. So my mom's father was a war vet, Korean, Vietnam, and she used to tell me that he was a brutal man to be around with her and her 9 siblings. Later in life for him, my mom was really the only person that cared for him, and when he passed, it hit her really the hardest. Now, my mom used to work midnights and would take naps during the day, and it was after her father passed that she could feel a presence around her while she slept. She was never really scared. She just acknowledged it and was more than likely her father and would fall asleep. There were quite a few times when she knew it was him and he would squeeze her thigh while she laid in the bed. Kind of crazy to welcome something like that that can touch you, that isn't even on this plane of existence anymore, but the story gets better. Right after the man was cremated, but before he was taken to Arlington National Cemetery, there was a gathering of his children at our house. They were all reminiscing about childhood things, and the subject came up about my aunt using instant cookie dough to make cookies in her house. My mom was washing dishes, looked out the window and said, "You hear that shit, Dad? She's using pre-made dough." At that exact moment, a cork popped off a wine bottle and nailed our ceiling. Not carbonated and already been opened, and the cork wedged back into the bottle. Ooh, that's weird. Called for a great jump scare. Now, same night, a little after the wine bottle thing, essentially the same exact scenario repeated itself. I don't recall what spun this up, but it went almost the same. "Hey, Dad, you hear that? Blah, blah, blah." I was sitting at the top of our steps, and my mom had a miniature decorative wooden chair as like an ornament piece right at the top of the stairs, as well as a Santa Claus sitting on it. He was pushed back into the chair, and nobody touched him because we knew better. As that above quote was fired off, the Santa made his way to the edge of that seat and was knocked off the chair. I was the only one close to it, but because he had bells on it, everyone heard and saw what happened. We all just laughed it off, but truly felt like my grandfather was fucking with us. Nowadays, my mom hasn't had even the slightest feeling from him, and it makes her sad, but she still loves the fact that he paid us a visit when he did. Thank you, Rob.
Thank you, Rob. Haunted Santa doll. Oof.
Yeah, the dolls coming to and doing some stuff. That's always a in for the spooky recipe.
Spooky recipe, but totally like a grandpa kind of thing to do. Like,
yeah.
Fuck with the wine and then fuck with the Santas. I don't know.
Yeah, that's the wine, like nail in the ceiling. Like that's one of those things you're like, fucking God, like, oh.
Maybe you, buddy, not me. I'm ready for it.
Stone cold wine bottles ain't getting Jay, guys.
I'm just waiting for it.
And you point, you're like, you motherfucker.
Not even. I just look. I'm like, saw that coming. Just point like a Babe Ruth point. Just
Called it. Knew it was happening.
nailed it. All right. So for the next one here, submitted by a good friend of mine, partner in crime for Order of the Thin Veil, Sam Heimer. Ow! He submitted two. I'm gonna read just the one for now. Save the other one for the next time. Sam says, my great aunt and uncle owned and lived on a dairy farm an hour or two north of Philadelphia. For as long as they lived there, they were frequented by a ghost, quote unquote, that would flicker lights, open and close doors and cabinets, and rock chairs in rooms without a draft. They had randomly named him John, and would often comment, "Oh, John," anytime something would happen. My grandfather, a no-bullshit, non-religious type that didn't believe in ghosts, would visit them monthly, often ending the visit with a few rounds of cards. On one particular visit, as they sat to play, the lights flickered and my aunt jokingly commented, "Hi, John." Whatever game they were playing started with flipping the first four cards from the deck. First card was a jack. The lights flicker. Second card was a jack. The lights flicker. Third and fourth, you guessed it, jacks. My grandfather says, "I think your John is a jack," and the lights flicker one last time. Years later, both aunt and uncle passed pretty close to each other. My grandfather had to settle their affairs and put the farm up for sale. While combing through records looking for their property line, he found an old newspaper clipping attached to the file. An obit from a farm hand named Jack that had met his end, falling face first into some sort of farm machinery.
Oh, man.
Sam coming in with the great content.
Yeah. Bringing the heat on the first submission. Damn.
I love that story, and I wanted to use that one first because it adds so many of the elements that I like from a really good ghost story. First of all, you've got the name to the ghost. That's almost every day. Like it's commonplace for the ghost to pull some antics. I always love those ones where they're like, "Oh, it's just the ghost," it's just the ghost. But then give it the chance, and it demonstrates its power, and then then coming on the back end with historical
light flickering,
historical backup, and it's like, oh, and not only was there a jack on the farm, but he fell face first into I don't know, I'm gonna go with like some kind of like hay making machine. I don't know,
like a hay baler type deal.
Yeah, something like that, where he just was like completely just ripped up or something. So I dig that story. So
yeah, that was a good one, Sam. Thank you very much, Sam. And the card thing, like, what kind of power does it take? Like to
ghost powers.
Yeah, ghost powers. Our man Peter James could probably do it.
I'm coming through.
Oh yeah, see, he knows what's up.
He's in. All right. Well, all right, guys. This next one comes from my homie Erica from the old neighborhood. Old B Town, the village. Represent.
Is this the apartment?
No. Well, she was there. She was a member of 318 alum.
Okay.
Yeah. Those were the days. But anyway, this one's called My Ghost Named Haley. Okay. So this was a long time ago, so details are faded now. I was living in an apartment on Frankfurt Ave at the time with my mom and my little sister Haley. She was, I think, 5, maybe 6 at the time. I got into a huge fight with my mom, and I remember locking my bedroom door and cried myself to sleep on my bed. I woke up. She knows.
Who's throwing the shade?
Yeah, she knows. I woke up and I remember looking up and seeing my little sister sitting on my hamper. Didn't say anything. She was just looking at me. I remember asking her what she was doing, and she still didn't respond. I had a mirror hanging above my hamper. I got up and looked at myself, so I started to lean over her, and when I went to look down at her, she was gone. I then lost my shit and ran out of my room, LOL. On a couple other occasions at the same apartment, I heard Haley yelling for me in another room when she wasn't even there. So basically, my sister, who was very much alive, haunts me in other forms, LOL. That's all I got. Not sure how ghostly this is. Well, now I chose this because I like the concept of it could be like maybe like a Kindergeist or a doppelganger in some sort.
Okay.
And we haven't talked too much about doppelgangers on this, but it's I've heard a couple of these stories before, and also my mom, she hears me calling her sometimes, and
Your mom needs an episode.
She's getting one. No, she will. She's getting one. Yeah, in the way that Haley haunts Erica, I apparently haunt my mom in in outside of this vessel.
Okay.
But Erica, thank you very much, and I was just kidding about the pussy part.
Oh,
You
thanks,
my dog.
Erica. Ken's a dick, so we will get it.
Yeah, I will end you one day though, Erica. So just remember that.
Wow. Talking some serious shit. Okay. All right. So another submission here. This one comes from first. I guess this would be the first family member that we've ever had on here. This is from my cousin Laura. Who? How long did it take for us to get her to put a fucking submission in?
Months and many comments, lots of harassing her on social media accounts. Yeah, about fucking time.
Yeah, seriously. And she delivered because she there's a novel here that I'm we're gonna have to break this up. I'll use this for future episodes, but I'm gonna read the first portion of her letter because it involves an apparition of my great grandfather that I never knew that he showed up.
Yeah.
I had no idea. So this was a fun one for me. So yeah, Laura says, "Hey fuckers," so you see where we're at with her. Well, I'm finally writing this damn story because I love you guys and harassment pays off.
Yes.
Sorry it took me so dang long. So I guess I'll dive right into because there's a lot to tell. I've been seeing spirits, ghosts, shadow people, and all that good shit since I can remember. I used to see my grandpa Bill, my great-grandfather, in the basement of my dad's house. That would be my Uncle Ralph. He used to mess with me all the time in that house. He still does. I've even gotten locked in that basement with a perfectly good working door with a lock on it. I won't go down there alone and always prop that door open when I am. One time when I was staying there, I wasn't living there at the time, I'd say maybe 8 years ago, I was sleeping on the couch in the living room. My dad and stepmama were in the room. It was maybe 1 a.m. or so. I am used to my father waking up at 3 a.m. to get ready to leave for work. When he walked in at 1 a.m. and started putting on his work boots, I was a little confused. So I asked him why he was leaving early tonight, but he wouldn't answer me. I sat up and saw that the way he was moving more was transparent than I ever wanted him to see him. Yeah. I lost my entire shit. I was losing it and thought my dad had passed away in his sleep, and I was seeing his ghost. I was in tears. I had to go to their bedroom. I called out to my stepmama and told her that what had just happened, and she needs to double check and triple check daddy. He was just fine. Something like this I will never understand. I always wondered if it was something bad messing with me in the form of him. Just unreal. So this is a weird one because, I mean, when you hear this kind of stuff where this is almost another doppelganger kind of thing.
Yeah.
But I'd say in today's paranormal milieu, people like to say that when this kind of shit happens, oh, it's a demon. Oh, demon.
Yeah.
So I had to throw it out there to just, because I know some folks are, certainly into that explanation. But yeah, Laura, that's really strange. I mean, it's almost like the energy had it out for you, right? I mean, it's almost like she just maybe it could have been her grandfather. Maybe she was like, I'm going to get her again because she was a pain in the ass when she was little. Because she was.
Damn.
I was too. It's fine.
Yeah.
But no, this. I mean, she's got a lot more, and I'll read in later episodes. But I really like this one because it's that middle of the night. You kind of the shape of a person, right? You see their it could be dark, but it's like, oh, that's definitely that's my dad, or you see someone else. Oh, that's my wife getting ready over there.
Yeah,
and you think you see somebody, and then it's like, wait a minute, they're transparent, and it's not the right time. So that's
like you're paying it no mind because it's just like a normal occurrence to see that person. And then all of a sudden, you're like, they're not really there.
Yeah, literally the devil is in the details here because it's like, wait, it's 1 o'clock, not 3 o'clock.
She saw what she thought was her grandmother. It was a demon, or like that. Yeah, the whole demon thing, like even with the little kid stuff, which is kind of the theme of the stories I picked here. But our boy Zach's always like, if it was a child, it is a demonic. It's a representation trying to throw you off.
and I don't particularly prescribe to that, but
Yeah.
it's very fashionable right now, and
Yeah.
hey, certain people do, and it's whatever. But I mean, you could certainly look at this one from that angle because it's like it looks like someone's fucking with her, but I would almost just go from our family likes to fuck with each other. Like people in our family like to fuck with the other family members. So it's like, of course, that's something they would do. It's like, not only is he like freaking her out, making her think it's her dad, but also fucking with her sleep, waking her up at 1 a.m. So,
Well, thank you for finally getting it to us, Laura.
yeah, Laura, I'm going to use yours for a while, but you're not off the hook.
Yeah. Not yet.
We're still going to harass you for a story, even though we have one. No,
Prepare.
seriously.
Oh man. All right. This next one is going to be actually our first recorded audio story submission.
Oh, way the future.
Yeah, yeah, we're getting high tech here, gang. So strap in.
Audio recordings.
Yeah. This is the first time that anyone has heard an audio recording ever. You know?
So, my best friend growing up, she went to school for event planning, and she worked in South Carolina. And the hotel that she worked at was like 3 mansions. The main one is where most people slept, and then there was 2 side mansions that were like separate from everything. And she said it was built on a plantation, so everyone who stayed there had haunting experiences. And one of the most like terrifying ones is that I guess a kid back in the day fell from the very top banister and I think he died there, right in the middle of the lobby. And then kids were playing around. This was like obviously recent. And they all came screaming into the main office and were like, there was a kid screaming and crying. We hear a kid and he's screaming. Someone needs to help him. Someone needs to help him. And they looked all over their hotel. There was nobody screaming and crying. It was this kid's like ghost coming back. And they, like, the kids were traumatized because they were running around on the banisters and heard this ghost apparition.
All right, so yeah, thank you, Delaney. Now that was Delaney from Delaware, and that hotel I actually ended up inquiring about. It was Berry Hill Resort and Conference Center.
Okay.
So I mean, plantation style.
Where is it?
Oh yeah, so that's actually in South Boston, Virginia.
Okay.
Yeah, Berry Hill Resort and Conference Center. So I mean, and looking at pictures, this is like, you're like, okay, this place is fucking haunted. So, yeah, and I love that, like the kids. Anytime the kids are like, holy shit, they're freaked out and like running towards and like, 'cause even as a kid from like stuff in the village, I had experiences with stuff in the woods and shit, and like it just. I love that kind of vibe of it, like in this fucking plantation. This kid died.
Yeah, I mean, haunted plantations. I mean, Jesus. I mean, you think of plantations, like, do any of them not have some kind of bad juju around them? You know what I mean? I mean, it's they're centers of human misery. So it's like, Jesus.
Yeah.
And then it just reminds me of, we've got plenty of those, many famous ones. I mean, I guess the first that comes to mind would be like the Myrtles Plantation.
Yeah,
it's
Myrtles.
just like, yeah, of course, bad things happen there, and then just they're also basically like I mean, not even basically, they're ancestral homes too. So you have so many generations of that family living there as well. So then you have all that going on there. So it's like, it definitely has like a steeped in history kind of feel. Whether it's good or bad history, it's still plenty of history all over those places. So yeah, that's a great story. That's one of those ones where it's like
Another added layer of it for me too that I like. I like that it was like. It's one of my best friends growing up. Like they told me, and like it stayed with her. You know what I mean? So like, anytime someone and my friend Fawn, who probably was like, "Hey, do you have any paranormal stories?" But she was probably like, "Yo, I got one." Because I love that. Like, it just it's like, "No, I got one. Listen to this shit." I love that little aspect of it.
Yeah, no, it's I really like the idea that like the group of kids saw something and then they run to tell their parents, because it's like that like visceral reaction is what kind of like sells me on those, because it's like these kids didn't stand around like, hey, you want to see there's a bloody ghost kid like walking around?
Yeah.
It's like, no, they must have saw something or just had the idea of something. They're like, oh my god, and then
Yeah,
I could see it playing out as she was telling the story. I was like, oh my god.
Yeah, and always the vocals, like a kid crying out or someone crying out.
Kid comes around the corner. There's so much blood.
And if I'm the parent, I'm like, fuck you. I'm not coming.
Dale, no power tools.
What if I want wings? No, but
Yeah.
thank you again, Dwayne. That's an awesome story.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, next up is another pal of the show, our boy Jacob.
Oh, the official artist of Other Dangerous Podcast. Jacob?
The official ODP artist. He submitted, and so I just definitely want to give him some time on the show here. So Jacob says, "Hi fellas, I know I've been telling you already about the smiley faces in my kitchen sink and the ghost dog under the end of the counter. That's ghost dog, like actual animal, not Forrest Whitaker again. Right. It seems now that the spirit or spirits have found a voice. My wife brought home from a local secondhand store a 2-story house and playground Fisher-Price Little People playset with push-button audio effects. Not long afterward, the toy had begun singing its tunes of its own accord. This occurs with nobody immediately present, and often when somebody enters an adjoining room. My wife, Charlotte, possesses a higher sensitivity to smells, sounds, and even energies unseen. Recently, when the little people were extra loquacious at bedtime, she politely asked that they settle down for the night, and they did. I tried the same, but to no avail. They continued to sound off, often with the refrain that begins, "Hello, hello, hello, how are you?" It's not a threatening energy and seems to align with the grins delivered to be in the kitchen. I'm sure this isn't the end of the story, and I'll be sure to keep you guys updated.
Oh yeah, keep us posted, bro.
Yeah, definitely seen that kind of that kind of thing happen where, spirits are,
manifesting within.
Yeah, communicating through, whatever battery energy is still left in the device. Although, I mean, it doesn't seem to be the case, but when because I have kids, and when the batteries are starting to die, the thing just goes off. But he's talking about, it almost seems to answer, and like when you come in and out of a room. So that's definitely a different thing. I mean, there's definitely been times where me and my wife have been sitting on the couch, and then all of a sudden, Buzz Lightyear says something like, "Oh, Jesus Christ."
His laser just goes off. You guys talk. You're like, "Oh."
Yeah, I'll just be sitting there, just hanging out. Just kids are finally in bed. It's like, "Oh Christ, let's just chill out." And then it's just like, there's a secret mission in uncharted space. It's like, Jesus Christ.
And then in the other room, you hear, "There's a snake in my boots."
Exactly.
Well, that's with those two, with those kind of things with the toys. Like that seems to be a big fear for a lot of people. Like, yeah,
toys going off because I think it's the whole like this shouldn't be happening now kind of thing, because it's like same kind of idea. Like you're in a horror movie, it's like, okay, you're in the middle of the woods, middle of the night, you're looking for, you think there's a monster out there, and then you hear kids giggling. It's like, oh fuck that. It's like, that doesn't belong there, right? So yeah, you're when toys go off and playtime's over, kids are asleep, it's definitely got that creepy vibe.
Yeah.
So I think we got to sit the ghost down and ask them, why you got to be so creepy?
Yeah. What's that about, man?
And it's like a notepad.
Yeah. Like, we leave the toys alone. Come on. How old
seriously.
are you?
It's always creepy, like that. Like on this Unsolved Mysteries episode, like the lady's trying to take a shower, the ghost manifests while she's taking a shower. It's like, come on.
Yeah. It's like now.
Time and place, lady.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Oh shit! But also another shout out to Jacob. There, we have our first official T-shirt coming soon.
Yeah, I hope so. I mean, Jacob's working on a little design for us. We got to work out some of the particulars, but I'm hoping this to be our first T-shirt and possibly sticker. But got to smooth out the details with Jacob, because we want to make sure he gets his credit and
absolutely,
and others. But yeah, no, we're super excited for it. It involves our favorite human being who has passed over. Do you think he's listening right now?
I'm coming through.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So of course you are. I'm sorry, Peter.
Yeah.
But no, Jacob, I think he's been a listener since the beginning. So thanks a lot, man. We really appreciate the
man,
submission, and the illustrations crack me up.
Yeah, the
Silduck.
And if you haven't got over to check out on our social medias and check out Jacob's work too. He's awesome, man. He really is.
Yeah, give him a follow. We linked to his stuff. He's got a lot of great other like illustrations, a few other great little things. So check him out too.
All right. Well, on to the next one. Now, this is actually this is Angela from Philadelphia. Now, this is actually one of my best friend's moms. Now, when she actually apparently started getting interested in our show, and when I was putting out a call for stories, she was like, "Ask Tommy about the one," and I was like, "Well, type it up for me." But then there's one little thing, a little preamble to this. Tom had one of those yak packs. You remember those? They were
Yeah,
like the
yeah.
little So he had one, and he lived right next door to me, and all the crazy shit that happened at that house. You know, that'll be another episode. But one he had it one. He was just playing to see things that he recorded, and he calls me into his room. He's like, "I need you to hear this." So it's just him fucking around with it, and
Like recording the Plaza Hotel commercial and like playing it back.
Yeah, yeah. But
Sorry, Home Alone 2 reference. I'm sorry.
yeah, no, it's good. Yeah, so you hear like contestants of Ding Dang Dong stay. But no,
Good boy. Good boy.
yeah, but he ends up going. He's like he's pale, like, and I've known this dude forever. When he's scared, I know he's fucking scared. So he plays it, and it's just like him, like recording something stupid, and then all of a sudden you hear like a voice doing like that, and he's like,
Not the Tasmanian Devil.
no, but it was like, it wasn't like, it wasn't that, but it was like a, and like we were
Wow.
like, I was like, B, all right, but yeah, so that
Get out the Ouija board, bro.
yeah, fuck that, but yeah, and so this is Angela. This is his mother's story, and she's from Philadelphia. So when I was 10 years old, my mother was ill, and her best friend Nancy asked my mom if I could help take her ill son to the hospital. Nancy drove, and I held the little 2 to 3 year old Ricky in my arms while she drove to the hospital. He was sleeping on me. We pulled up to the hospital. She grabbed Ricky from my arms and ran inside the entrance to the hospital. I waited, which seemed like forever, sick to my belly. I asked my mom, "Mommy, how is Ricky?" She replied, "He is okay." A few days, I had another bellyache, just like the one I had going into the hospital. I told my mom. The same day, I said, "Mom, Ricky came over to visit. I saw him sitting at the top of our stairs, peeking out through the iron railing. Bright blonde hair, huge blue eyes." I ran to my mom, who was in the kitchen. She came out to see what I was seeing. "Angie," she said, "there's nothing there." He was looking straight at me, eyes like diamonds. My mom, seeing how upset I was, proceeded to tell me Ricky had passed away. My bellyache was gone after I saw him.
Yikes.
Yeah.
Another dead kid story.
Yeah, it said it was going to be a little theme here.
Wow, what a theme there, pal.
Yeah, they're the submissions, man.
No, I hear it. That's chilling. I mean,
Yeah.
it reminds me of like from The Grudge when like the kid's like looking through the bars of like the thing, and it's like,
Yeah, and you're like,
yikes. Yeah, that's damn.
and like she was holding the kid while he was, dying. And maybe it was like
Oof.
kind of like a thank you for the comfort in my last moments type deal,
Yeah, or it's just or maybe some of the energy just kind of like attached to her.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Thank you, Angela.
Yeah, no criticism there.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah, that one kind of when I read it too, because like that it's painful, because like there was a personal attachment.
Yeah.
And like with so many of those things, you kind of hope to be like, okay, I hope they're okay somewhere, And it didn't seem eerie, but it seemed like
Right.
maybe that feeling she had was just like you said, it was attached to her. So she had the stomach ache. Then she saw him because she had the same stomach ache when poor Ricky was passing.
Right. Wow.
Yep.
Well, it's a hell of a story. All right. Well, on to our next submission. This one's from Clayton. Clayton says, around 15 years ago, my dad and I went to my grandpa's house to evacuate a hurricane. I was sitting in a chair, not paying attention to where my hands were, when I suddenly felt someone or something grab my right hand. I thought it was my grandpa trying to play a joke on me, which I thought was odd because he was very dry and serious, but sure enough, there was no one there. Gotta love those ones, man. I mean,
Quick grab and like you're like, whoa, yeah, oh,
yep. And another grandpa,
yeah, that's your theme tonight.
that's my theme. Actually, yeah, it kind of is.
Yeah,
That's
isn't
the
that
third
weird?
story with a grandpa.
Yeah,
Pretty much. I like those quick ones because it's like I would say, whenever you're listening to people's paranormal stories, it's always something like this where it's like, all right, this thing happened. It happened once in my life, and somebody grabbed me, or I saw this, and it's very like the details are always like, nope, this is what happened. They don't change. It's like this is what happened. This is what happened to me. And I see this one come up a lot where someone gets grabbed. It's like they either get like the grab on the hand or the grab on the back or the grab of the ankle. You see that
Yeah.
one a lot.
yeah,
And it's it's startling because if you're sitting somewhere where it's supposed to be empty and you feel a hand on you, it's like what the that challenges everything that you know about reality. It's like what the hell is going on here?
And you feel the physics of it though. Like, what has energy enough to manifest touch? You know what I mean?
Yeah, manifest touch, or has the ability to alter your perceptions in your brain to make you think that you just got touched by a hand.
Yeah,
so it boggles the mind. I mean, so when things like that happen, I really like these I like to call them like small ghost stories, because they're small but they're super potent. Because when people have these ones like this, it's always like, I don't know if it's always life changing, but it's always a one where they always remember, like, yes, I had a paranormal experience and this is what it was. And, I think ones like these are undeniable.
Yeah, and you saying like life changing, it's not like going to change the course of their life, but it changes like a core kind of belief that like.
I think it skews the perspective. Like, you've been looking this way your whole life. Man, maybe you're skewed like 10 degrees to the right now. You know what I mean? It's like, and hey, it could, that just enough can just, cause you to look at things with a different, kind of lens of things. And I just love these ones because it's just like, ooh, you think of it because you can put yourself there like, oh God, that's fucking spooky.
Yeah. And I love that. I love that too, because it's not like a me or you type deal where like we kind of like grew up in it and we have that we want to believe mentality with stuff. Like this is just like this happened, and now I'm here. Now I'm here with it. Like.
Right.
Thank you for the submission, Clayton. I really like it.
Yeah, Clayton. Thanks a bunch, man.
And were you gonna say something else?
No, I was just going to go into a little bit of belief and all that kind of stuff. It's like I definitely want to believe in stuff, but the older I get, the way more skeptical I get. But there's still those like the one we were just talking about that just. There's undeniable ones that just don't waver, and it's like I have these touchstone ones. I'm like, nope, I point to this. I'm like, I don't have any proof, but from my experience in life, these couple things here point me that we don't have the answers to all this shit.
Yeah, right. So. All right, so I'm gonna go on to my last one for this episode. This comes to us from Tony from Baltimore.
Tony.
Hey. But
Tony from the Bing.
All right, guys. So I was delivering newspaper on my paper route when a longtime customer pulled his car up next to me and asked me to just give him the daily newspaper now because he was going on a long trip. I handed him the newspaper, then skipped his house, and I continued my route. The next day, I was connecting the weekly fees. You had to go collect the money back in those days, like Tony Wood. No, there was no internet payment, but and I went to his house to collect my fee. His wife answers and promptly complains that I missed her house on my deliveries the day before. I explained to her that her husband pulled up next to me, and I told her what he said, and I gave him the paper. She started crying, told me that he had died a couple weeks ago, and it was obviously not possible that I spoke to her husband the day before. I know what I saw, and nearly 30 years later, I still think about that situation. I have no way to logically explain what happened, and it still gives me the creeps.
Wait a minute. So the one that he saw was a ghost.
That classic, they've been dead for 13 years.
Wow. Another that's, I'm not going to call it a trope because that sounds dismissive, but
yeah.
That's those ones where it's like it's almost like that's residual energy or something, or like or he was like, hey, I'm going out of town, forever,
long trip, long trip,
let me get one more newspaper from you. That's that's and the personal details on that are just that's cool, because it's just like that dude he's got his paper route, he knew what he had to do. He's here's the guy, I see him every week. Yeah, man, here, take your paper, and then he's like, what's the wife want? And then he goes up and then
it reminded me of like those like some of those Twilight Zone episodes that are like few and far between, where it's just like the husband was calling from the grave, like that kind of thing. Like, and it stood out to me. I once again, what kind of energy could pull that off?
I don't know, man. I mean, that's the big question, isn't it? It's like
Yeah,
what
the
you know.
big Q.
Not that Q. That Q. Sorry, I couldn't help it.
Hey, get your punches in when you can, man. Fuck it.
Yeah, that's what it is. All right, yeah. So moving along to also my last submission. This one comes from Kelly, and Kelly writes, "When I was in college, I lived in an apartment building in Richmond, Virginia, that was a converted hospital called Grace Hospital. Me and my roommate had a baby shower to go to later that day, and the night before, I reminded her to bring the gift with her because I would be able to take it where I was going from. When I woke up that morning, she'd already left for the day, and I saw the present on the floor directly inside the front door. It was pressed right against the door to a point where you could not have been able to get out. I even tested going outside to see if I could purposely close the door while pulling the gift towards the door, and I couldn't. My friend also said she did not leave the gift on the floor. I thought she forgot it, and a friendly spirit wanted to make sure I took it. Crazy.
Yeah.
It's a helpful spirit.
Yeah, and once again, another big energy kind of spirit here, you know?
Yep. I mean, you know, gotta make sure you can't forget that gift.
Yeah, for real. in these days, you know, people taking that shit willy-nilly.
You know what? This goes. I mean, I'm not sure. Yeah, Kelly, it doesn't say when this happened. I don't know, when I was in college, so this could have been in the past. But you know, maybe this ghost was just ahead of their time. Like, you know, hey, in a few years, people are going to be stealing packages from Amazon like crazy. Here's how to combat them.
Yeah, let me put you onto some shit here, Kelly.
Yeah, angle it this way so when the person comes by, they can't see the gift.
Yeah.
Don't be one of these asshole delivery drivers that takes your front doormat and throws it on top of the package because that looks like it's hidden.
Or some of them just like, they're like, delivery, drop it fucking back, kick it at your door.
Yeah, delivery, and they frisbee it at your front fucking door. What is it? I don't know. Probably something nice though.
What is it? Oh, probably broken. See
Yeah,
ya.
exactly. No. Every time one of those, it's always like, oh, looks like Ace Ventura delivered this one too.
Yeah. Oh man. Fuck. Like, I love people's individual stories so much.
Oh yeah.
It's such a it brings people together because like if they're gonna like tell you this, because most people are like, I don't really tell this shit to people because people just go, you're crazy, you're nuts. But when someone's like, yo, like I got a story to tell you, and I'm just like, yes, just and when it's a good one, man, it just, I think these are probably some of our best stories that we've done so far.
Yeah, no, I dig them, and I love the personal quality of them. And this also just, I don't know if I mentioned on the podcast before, but when I become, you know, friends with somebody or meet someone new, you know, within the first couple conversations, I'm asking you got a ghost story? Because it's supremely interesting to me. Like I want to know if you've had that kind of thing, and if you haven't had any, I'm usually like, guess we can't be friends.
Yeah, yeah, I do the same thing, but like I'll start dropping ghost hints. Like,
Oh no, I just asked straight up.
Yeah.
Any ghost stories?
If they like latch on, they're like, well, you know, if they're interested, then I'm like, hey, let's talk.
Yeah,
What do you got? What do you got in the bag?
exactly. Go over your filing cabinet, full of your own personal X files.
The music starts playing.
It sure does.
I put on my Fox Mulder fucking FBI badge. Oh man.
Yep. No, I obviously we love this shit. That's why we do this podcast. But I could literally listen to people's ghost stories all day long. Like whether I think it's real or not, it's not for me to decide. I love hearing them because if it was weird enough for you to remember it and retell it, I think it has value. So
yeah, it obviously held some weight with you.
yeah, and life is boring sometimes. So when you bring these, sometimes, it's all the time, especially when you're in lockdown for a fucking year.
Yeah.
So, you know, this is like a fine spice or something like that you put on that you know, variety. They say variety is the spice of life, but I think it's paranormal stories.
Yeah, paranormal stories, definitely. It is the salt of.
I mean,
life.
maybe that could be like our first product that we put out, some nice spice. We'll just call it, you know, paranormal stories. You know, it's the spice of life, and then you just got the bottle sitting there. It should be in every kitchen.
And it's like there's a grinder, and like cryptids and ghosts and aliens are going into the top, and then what comes out is a multicolored
Yeah, it's like the beginning of Powerpuff Girls. They're putting all the ingredients
Yeah.
in.
Yeah.
Sugar, spice, everything nice until,
We're just like Ghost, UFOs, Gleep Glorp, Peter James.
Oh, Gleep Glorp.
Do you think
True.
aliens tell ghost stories around a fire?
All right, yes, but I think they have higher understanding of it. So they're like, hey, remember the time we saw that intergalactic, uncontained, solar flare that came through the thing? It's like,
Yeah.
yeah, man, that was crazy.
Yeah. That
It's like,
never
what are you guys
happens.
doing?
man.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. And they're like, what's going on in there? And like, fucking Gleep Glorp again, man. He's
Yeah.
got these wacky stories that nobody believes in, but we all have one of them.
The little kid aliens are like, Gleep Glorp, could you tell us what about your great-great-grandfather again? He's like, hold on, Zip Zap, we're gonna
Zip zap.
we'll get to it.
I think we just got our official second alien name. Gleep Glorp and Zip Zap.
Somewhere out in the universe, out there in the cosmos, I'm picturing in my head a campfire. It's like a blue flame because and little aliens with just t-shirts crouched around Gleep Glorp.
Yep.
With a
On
shard.
this episode, Gleep Glorp and Zip Zap Narful the Garthak.
Never bother go back. Oh man. Sometimes I feel like...
And then the three moons align and everyone has a good time.
Yeah. Beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
The good shit.
Yeah, so no, we definitely wanted to have a nice loose fun episode tonight. Hope you guys enjoyed our little laid back ghost little story approach. It's like I can almost hear the campfire flames crackling in the background. Wait, I can hear them.
So we're saying we're changing our format up a bit. This is going to be one of our last remote ones that few and far between. Hopefully, we might everything permitted. We're going to be doing them in the same space together, and we're really fucking excited.
Yeah, we're definitely excited about it. You know how it is. I mean, we've been in the world of Zoom for the last year, and it's like it's fun. We do our thing, but we want to get together and fucking tell some
Throw
ghost
down.
stories together.
Yeah, throw down.
Yeah.
Well, all right, guys. I want to thank everyone for their submissions. This was great reading
Yes,
these.
thank
I had
you.
an awesome time, and that being said, closing statements.
Closing statements. I just want to reiterate the thank you and everyone who's got a little. I'm running it through my company, but we're having a little giveaway contest, and so we've been getting a nice little flood of submissions, and I thank everyone. A few of the ones that we read tonight are from the submissions we've gotten in the last day, which I can't believe how many we've gotten. And I just want to thank everyone for that. We really appreciate it, and it'll just help the show be better. And hey, if you enjoy what we're doing, please share it with your friends. Let us know. Let them know about it. We're just two guys who really enjoy this stuff, and we we hope we bring some kind of a. I know I said laid back, but it's just this stuff shouldn't be so produced. I don't know if you folks who are listening to this listen to other paranormal podcasts. After like 4 or 5 episodes, I'm just like, Jesus Christ. And then like the MeUndies ads and shit. It's just like, come on.
And why does every podcast think that I'm manically depressed? Did you ever notice that? It's all like BetterHelp. Like, how are you doing? Like,
yeah, I mean, as soon as there's ads for stuff, it's like, if there's an ad for this on this podcast, I'm never buying anything from that thing. Because it's like, dude, just stop. Or even worse, the ones with the podcast that have ads that are like tone deaf to the material. Like, if you're selling stuff, fine, okay, but it needs to relate to the podcast. Like, don't have a podcast about ghosts and then like you're selling like fucking 1-800-Flowers. It's like, kiss my ass. It's like, stop it.
yeah, they're like
Sherry's berries.
edible arrangements. It's perfect for anything. They're like, the haunting of this castle. Now that reminds me. Valentine's Day is coming up, and
No, it should be. Thanks for telling us about that haunted castle. Now here's a website that sells haunted skulls. Like, here's the perfect shovel to dig up a grave. Like, that's what I want to hear.
it's got like the rock music.
Yeah, that or just heavy, like fucking like death metal or like a
all chuggers, you know.
doom metal, just fucking riff.
Yeah.
Like that's what I want to hear.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah,
man.
like just keep it on, you know. But you're not going to hear that from us, guys. We're not
Yeah.
doing ads. We're just.
Yeah.
I think that was my point that I started with there. It's just we're just here to talk, have a have a laid back kind of approach of it, and just like we said in the beginning, this is how me and Ken blow off some steam. So.
And yeah, my closing statement is something from you. Paranormal stories, the spice of life. For us, especially.
It is.
Hell yeah. So I guess that's going to put the kibosh on this one. For
Kibosh? I would say more of like the. I
bookend.
don't know. That like kind of cancels it.
Oh yeah, all right. All right. Well, this puts
Yeah,
the lid on this episode to be
All right.
reopened.
Put that lid on. Burp that Tupperware. We'll see you next time.
All right, guys. For Other Dangerous Podcast, I'm Ken James,
And I'm Jason McKittrick.
and as always, have a spooky evening. Thank you for listening to Other Dangerous Podcasts. Have you encountered the other dangers? If so, you can email us at otherdangerouspodcast@gmail.com. And if you'd like to have a discussion about the paranormal, you can find us at Other Dangerous Podcast on Facebook and Instagram. There you can find submitted pictures, videos, and artwork from listeners. We are now streaming on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and anywhere else podcasts are streamed. And after listening, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe so we can continue to bring you the other dangers.